The last video I made titled Revelation on Why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is Still in Jail and Those Behind the Deal, Part 1. I did appeal to every one of you to please disconnect your mind from any emotional attachment to anybody right now, whether in IPOB, DOS, or any other group, or even with the Finland criminal or any other place that you have given your attention or your support or your connection to, your emotional entanglement, what has kept you, so that when they say anything, you don't see anything wrong, you don't believe anything wrong, you believe everything is correct, everything they are doing is right, and all of that. I appealed to every one of you. I said, please, for you to understand the whole things I'm going to be saying now, if you love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, disconnect your emotion from every entanglement, yes, every entanglement and any kind of emotional sympathy you have for anybody right now, because this is 3 years plus now. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped in June 2021. Today's date is Sunday 22nd or so of September 2024. So 3 years plus, 3 years 4 months plus. Now, of course, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not with us, and the first thing I want you to ask yourself is, how come for 3 years plus, the whole of Biafra land, everyone is quiet, waiting for courts to give the court of the enemy to give its verdict on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Why is it that none of us is talking about some actions we need to take that will force the government to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Some of you will say that the Finland criminal is doing a lot. Well, I don't want to go into that details, because sometimes talking about him is like deciding to waste some time, even if once in a while I need to make you understand how criminal he is, and also how those of you who are very, very connected to him or who are working with him have been deceived and manipulated. Anyways, we're waiting for 2nd of December, as he said. Then let's see what will be your own excuse and what will be your own conclusion at that point. I want to welcome you to this short video. It's not going to be more than 30 minutes or so, and I want to say, please, as you join in, because the things we're going to be saying is very important for people to listen to everywhere, wherever they are. We want to reason. So please share this on all your social media platforms so that people can get themselves disconnected from that entanglement that has kept them, in the confines of a retarded ability to reason, and then so we can reason along. I know that every one of you here listening to me now or watching now, right now, love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If you really do, anyways, and if you really have conscience, then you would definitely want to listen to what I want to say, because I'm going to make so many points. I'm going to take them step by step, very gradually. I don't want to rush things. I just want to take it, because I want you to take your reason along the line from one point to the other. I'm going to give instances and all of that, so we can reason together. And I want to see your comments, please, so that I can know how you're thinking or what you're thinking about, and then can respond accordingly. And then other people also can respond based on their own thoughts, because once you post your thoughts, people can read it and want to give you their own perspective to it at that point in time or to it. And also, please subscribe to this channel. It's important that when you find channels that are speaking the truth, you have to also support those channels by subscribing, so that we can reach more people, because the more you subscribe and we grow, the more people can identify with us. And it is very, very important, fundamental, that you take it as a responsibility to be an agent of truth. Wherever you find truth, you'll be part of spreading it all around. Now, I hope that I am talking to people who have disconnected their emotions from all the platforms where they hold obeisance or where they worship, because it has become a form of worship right now. That people are in support of different kinds of people without thinking. And the problem about it is that because religion has taught us to be so loyal that when we find a thought at a particular time, we go with that narrative or that, error of just not questioning things, but just following blindly. I remember when I was with the criminal, in Finland, when we thought that he was actually on the path of truth, and I was working wholeheartedly. I was on about 5 committees. I was secretary to 4 of them, including the advisory board and all of that. And lots of things were coming out. Lots of things were being said, both on the platform of the advisory board and the platform of the media team, where I was also secretary. And of course the think tank group that did a fabulous job. We put together the constitution, we put together the code of conduct and other things. We did wonderful job, wrote some letters, I wrote them personally. In fact, the constitution, I critically sat down to write everything. People aired their thoughts and all of that. I put them in perspective and added some very good points to it too. So lots of jobs that we did then, because we thought we were working to see that we get things prepared for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to come out and to see how we can put things together so that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can be free. But along the line, I discovered that it was about hijacking the process and capitalizing on the situation for some few people, like the criminal and other people, to find themselves in a position of controlling resources and controlling Biafran land. Of course, that's so obvious and conspicuous when the monies that were being contributed was going to Azuka's husband's account. And up till now, the monies are going to their account. Azuka is still in the picture, but on the background, other people are also benefiting from the loot, stealing from Biafrans. Both the people on the media team are being paid, the people on the media team being paid every month, and also encouraged, and people are subscribing, joining their platforms. They're making money, so they don't care. When the time comes, they'll tell you, we never knew, we thought he was right. So they will play on that as if they don't know, but they know, because I know those days we used to talk. They'll say this is wrong, but let's watch, let's see whether they're going to give us a count after the 150 days count and after the election thing, the Nigeria election thing, when it ends in February and the 150 days is elapses and they will now know whether they're going to be accountable. They all know all of this stuff, but now they have pretended as if that part is no more relevant. How people have to have a way of trying to play down on things and trying to pretend as if they are forgetting some stuff and just move on, with narratives that will enhance and enrich their pockets. That's how our people roll. And also on the platform of the DOS, well, I'm going to be saying so many things here because I've told you, disconnect your mind from any emotional attachment so that you can understand me very well and also run with the thoughts based on common sense, not on emotional sentiments. Because I am going to be hurting so many people. I'm going to be stepping on toes by what I say, but the truth must prevail. This is Truth Channel Network, and what we want to do is to face the truth. Now, I know that most of you, not all of you, love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And those who don't love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and those who love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, just come to me on this table of reasoning, this table conference where we have to reason out and just suspend our emotional connection from anybody, and let's apply common sense and intellectual strength and vigor in this matter. Now, I want to believe I'm talking to people who have decided now to drop the emotional sentiments and you want to reason. Now, these are the thoughts these are the lines I want to reason along, And first, I want you to ask yourself this question. When the Nigeria contraption, the Mieti Allah or the Arewa or the group, controlling the Nigeria construct, decided to put a bounty on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu of about, I can't remember the number of millions right now, whether $2 million or $1 million or something, or 10 million or whatever thing, the bounty And also when the Nigeria contraption decided to bring out money to give out a huge some billions of naira to the people who would give them a clue of how to get Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or arrest Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or capture him, not arrest, capture him, because he's not committed any crime, so you can't arrest him, so it was a kind of capture, and to illegally take him in. When that was done, did you think that money was not for the purpose of the people who are around him? Now let me explain. When you find any level of bounty all over the nations of the world being put on anybody, that bounty is not for the people who are outsiders. Sorry, that amount, that bounty put on the person who is to be caught or who is being targeted, the money put is not for the people who are outsiders. It is for those who are around him who can give information about that person so that they will be able to reach to that person, and who can create an opportunity to give access for them to be able to have facts and information and clear-cut, clear-cut information, or let me put it that way, that will help them capture the person who is the target. Now, which means that every bounty is a bait to the people around a particular person who is the target. It is not a bait, to anybody who is an outsider, because an outsider does not know the movement of the person who is the target. It is only the insider who knows the movement of the person who is the target. For instance, when the Pharisees decided to put a bounty on Christ, Yehoshua Mashiach, who is called Jesus Christ by the English people, they put the bounty, and the bounty was not for any ordinary Israeli out there to be able to identify Christ. The bounty was on Christ, but the reward, that bounty, that price, was going to go to somebody who is an insider, who knows Christ very well, and who will be able to give them access to identify the Christ and also to capture him. So that was why someone like Judas Iscariot, who was part of the 12, was the one that sold out Christ, because he was an insider. He understood the movement, he understood where Christ would be at a particular time, he understood what he would be doing at a particular time, he understood the best time for him to be captured, he understood all the details, he had all the information. So when the time came, they knew where Christ was, they knew he was already in Gethsemane, they knew that he was, because Judas had already given all the information and he was going to take them there, and he knew the loopholes on how to capture him and all of that. He knew all of that stuff. So that was what happened. Now, today, as at 2 days ago, that was today's Sunday, on Friday, Israel, targets, or was it yesterday, Saturday or Friday or so, and the 21st or so of September or so, and Israel targeted, a particular building in Beirut, in Lebanon, and killed Ibrahim Akil, or whatever his name is, Ibrahim Akil, who is a terrorist, who has been wanted, who has been a wanted person from the 80s. In fact, then the story is that in April 1983, he masterminded the bombing of the Israeli embassy in Lebanon, and which killed about 60-something people. In fact, the person on the gate where the bomb exploded was not seen; he just melted because of the impact of the bomb, and all they saw was these buttons or something were melted somewhere and all of that. It was massive. And also October or so in 1983, that same year, he masterminded the bombing of a barrack or a particular military base in Lebanon of an American military base, where over 200 and something people were killed. 200 and something Marines were killed, and so he had been on the wanted list for years, and then suddenly Israel was able to kill him in the building. Now remember, the story has been that he has been staying underground, tunnels and all of that, and for someone who is staying underground, under tunnels and all of that, not using the regular communication gadgets and all of that. This was a kind of very difficult situation. And the only person who could be able to reveal where he is must be an insider, must be someone who is close to Ibrahim Akil, or anyone close to one who is close to him, who would get information from the one who is close to him and reveal it. So that building was bombed, and that building was a residential building in Lebanon, Beirut, where Akil was underground with some of his commanders and some of his men having a meeting of how they're going to carry out another attack on Israel. Now, the Israeli authority or the military knew where he was under that building. All these years, they had to place bounty so that they would use it as a bait of attracting someone who is close to him, who will give an information of where Akil is. And suddenly the building was blown up and Akil is killed. Now, how did that happen? Because someone who is inside gave information. How was Ojukwu sabotaged along the line of the whole thing? There were people around Ojukwu who were giving messages and communication and information, to the Nigeria side, to Lagos, where everything Ojukwu was doing, in spite of the fact of how strong and militarily formidable he was, and how that war would have ended, to the favor of Biafra, if not for the Russian and Egyptian and British, support to the Nigeria side, and that was how the war was lost. But they needed information from the insiders who would give them some stuff about what is inside, how Ojukwu was operating, where they need to target, what they need to do to get the people or to subdue Biafra. And it was people who were close to Ojukwu that were sabotaging this whole thing. Now, till today, everything that have been happening in the lives of people, including the times of the Bible, long time ago, so many activities in scripture, people who were close to people were used to kill them. What happened to Samson, for instance, in the book of Judges, I think chapter 7 or chapter 8 or chapter 9 or so, Judges chapter 9, 10, you find the story of Delilah against Samson. The Philistines placed a bounty and told her that if you do this, we're going to give you this prize. And that was a bait to her. She was the closest to Samson. She was the one who could access information, about the secrets of Samson. She was the one who was well placed to do that. So when the time came, she forced the secret out of Samson, and Samson gave information about his strength. And that was how he was captured. Now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, also in the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, let me tell you, when the bounty was placed, it was a bait to those who are around him, close to him. Some of them are members of his family. Some of them are members of the DOS. Some of them are the politicians. First, the contract and the deal was given to the politicians, the governors and the politicians in the southern region or the eastern region, of the contraption, which is Biafra land. The contract was given to them. We want you to liaise and penetrate IPOB, get some of them to compromise, get some of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's family members also to compromise, get someone to compromise so that they can give us information. It is a law in the tactics of penetration. If you want to capture anybody, if you want to penetrate anybody, you use somebody who is an insider to do that. If you want to poison anybody, you poison them through somebody who is close to them. It has happened all over the nations of the world. It has happened from the beginning of time. Those who were able to penetrate people and deal with them were people who were close to them. Look at Cain and Abel. Abel trusted his brother so he could go to go out to the field with him. So he was not guarded because he felt that he was secure with his brother. There was one video I was watching. I saw two men in a gas store, having the cylinders everywhere. And because the boss was there, he actually trusted that this guy who has been working with him has been with him for a long time or so, and he could trust the guy. So he was just doing his thing, counting his things, not knowing that the guy has in mind to kill him. And suddenly the guy picked up one of the gas cylinders and hit him on the head, and that's how he died. And these are the things we are saying People are only captured, can be penetrated by people who are close to them. And so that is why you see when Abacha was there, he was skeptical about the people who were close to him, especially when he felt that the people who were close to him more were, especially based on military ranks, were people not from his own clan. Fulanis know how to protect themselves to an extent, very, very formidable based on religious attachment and religious bond. Their religion have taught them to trust one another so much. But the truth about it is that, of course, we still have some of them who could betray them. But he saw a Yoruba man around him. He saw Bami, around him. So he felt, that's talking about Abacha now, he felt that this guy also might be a traitor. So he set him up with the narrative of a coup, and before you know it, Bami fell Dia, and Bami and other people fell for it. Dia was the vice to Abacha then, and they fell for it, and they were plotting. And so Abacha was able to capture them and imprison them because he knew, according to what had been happening in great empires and all over the nations of the world, that those who could penetrate people are people who are within. So I'm giving you this analogy so that, because I know that your mind is now free and you can now reason. So I want you to now understand why you need to reason with me and why my mind is working the way it is working. Because I want to judge things neutrally on the ground of neutrality, and based on the fact that I love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I don't know about you, but for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be in jail or in a dungeon for 3.5 years or 3 years, 4 months right now, and nobody is saying anything, nobody's doing anything. Now everybody what is doing is looking at the courts to release him, and even what normal people would do to set up a committee, a fact-finding committee, to look into the details, especially when there are evidences or there are exhibits that prove that some people must have been part of it, and by natural and historical facts also that proves that people around those who are the target are always the ones used against them. Now, when we look at the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who are those who are close to him? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu puts Chike Doziem there, not because he wants to put anybody there, but because he has trust in him, and so he put him there. So Chike Doziem is there as, the one who leads, directly under Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and Chinan Saworo also is there because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu trust him to an extent to put him there. He didn't give him position there because he just wants to put him. He just want to put him there. He gave him a position there because he believes, that these ones can work with him, and he puts Nenna, Anya, and other people in their positions, Madam Uyibo and other people in their positions because he had a level of trust with them. He put Nelly where she was, all of them. He put them there because he had a level of trust. He put the secretary where she is because he had a level of trust. And so these people are people who could get information. Also, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu family members, especially his brothers, who have been showing, who of course naturally as brothers or sisters, brothers and sisters, those who are his family members would naturally have, access to knowing him based on the sentiment of family bond and all of that. So it simply means that by association, by organization, by by the purpose and the mandate of freedom, there were people Mazi Nnamdi Kanu brought close to himself, believing that these people have the same mindset with him on the case of freedom and on the pursuit of the freedom of the people as a whole. And also by the sentiment of his family members, he could confide in them to an extent, knowing that they are also part of him in what he is doing and needs them also to be on his side and support him as a family to do what he is doing. So there are people who are close, and these people of course know details about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's movement. Now, if the issue of going to Kenya, there must have been someone inside who convinces Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, gives information to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, sets the other side of the divide in Kenya, sets someone up there or other people up there, giving them information on where and how they are going to operate and do this deal. Now remember, the first thing that happened was that Nigeria government sets a bounty. Mieti Allah sets a bounty, or Erewa, they set a bounty, and then the first connection they had to do is the people they can access. They are direct, slaves. They are direct proxy who are in the south is the governors and the politicians. They connect with those ones and some business people who are supporting and part of the criminality going on in government in Biafra land. So they connect the politicians from Abuja. connected these local politicians or these regional politicians, the businessmen, the governors and all of that. Those ones now who also, of course, from the same tribe, who are connected to these IPOB people, because sentimentally we're family, so we are from the same Biafra. They also connects with some of these people on the level of whom those Mazi Nnamdi Kanu trust and give them vital positions in the Biafra struggle. So all these people you are seeing now displaying innocence, coming on Radio Biafra, talking, or some of them who are not on the Radio Biafra or who are part of the integral operations of IPOB, every one of them are suspects, because 1, 2, or 3 of them must have been aware of what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by connecting with the politicians. Now, let me tell you, there is no way Abuja or Buhari would have done anything without the help of the politicians, the businessmen, and in spite of how they set the bounty, because the bounty must have a link or must have a way of reaching the people that are the target to be given the bounty and then using them as a means of capturing the person who is the target. So the bounty, you can just mention a bounty, but for that bounty to reach the people you actually have in mind that you are setting the bait for, to give you the information, you must have a link from the people trusted, or the people who have a link to the person who is the target. So the politicians, the Biafra politicians, and those from the eastern region, the politicians, the businessmen, the governors, and all of that, were the direct link to the members of IPOB, especially those ones at the top who have relationship with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So the first people that will be contacted by Abuja or by Buhari and his government were these politicians. The politicians also will now go to work. Now they have told them, this is what we want to achieve. We want to capture this person. But we know that you are you are kinsmen to these people. The IPOB people, you know their families, you know where they are, you relate with them, you can talk with them. They will understand you as a kinsman. Offer them, give them what their offer is. This is how much you are going to give them. 2, you have the opportunity also of controlling IPOB when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is out. And all you need to do is just, of course, you can still keep fighting, but just do it in a way like you put pressure on the government to continue to do the right thing, but not a way of trying to move away or having a nation of your own. But you can keep mentioning the issue of having Biafra nation, but of course, you'll be watering it down by calming the people and making the people understand that it will come one day. But under our government, we need to capture this man, Nnamdi Kanu, because he is bent, he is unbribable, he is not permeable. So we want to get him out. Now, tell these people who are on the DOS, who are around him, that they would also have an opportunity of controlling Biafra people after Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have been taken out, and then so that they also can be enjoying the monies and the stuff we'll be pushing to them, but they will be doing this thing moderately. All they need to do, serve as pressure group or as a political angle, putting pressure on politicians to give them so-called dividend of democracy or so-called right thing to do, and just operate, there, and get the people to be on that level only and not push hard on the freedom. So they have opportunity of making more money from us and then also leading. So that becomes the bait to some of these people on the IPOB DOS, or even if they are not members of DOS but are close, or the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu family members. So now these politicians now come to the IPOB leadership and then propose this idea. People like Ifeanyi Oba and all these people who provided, is it Andy Oba or so? I can't remember whether it's Andy Oba or Ifeanyi Oba, who provided his private jet and that was used to convey Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They all came and they talked to them. Now, ask yourself this question. How come when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, ask yourself this question. How come when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, his brother would decide to keep it secret? People have been talking about that. People already know this, but I want you to look at it on a neutral ground now. How come he kept it secret? How come the secretary kept it secret, given an excuse that her life was being threatened by whatever, according to what China Zawunu said? That's his own thoughts. That's what he said. We have not found out the truth yet because we have not heard from other people. We'll try to get the truth from other people. But the only platform in which we can get this truth is on the fact-finding committee, which I am clamoring for. And I don't know why Biafrans are not taking it seriously. Now, we are going step by step. I'm taking you step by step into this matter because I want you to understand. I'm giving this detailed information so that you can understand how betrayal is concluded, how it begins and how it is concluded and how it runs. Now listen, for the fact that everyone is coming out to talk good about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and everyone is coming out, to speak, and most people coming out on Radio Biafra or giving their narrative on social media about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu doesn't take away the fact that most of them are suspects, especially those ones who are close to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The truth about it is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must have, in a way, either given information about his traveling to Chike Doziem, China Sanworu, the lawyer, Ejiofor, who was close to him, his brother Kamenta, his other brother Emmanuel, and other people, Nenna, and other people, Nelly, and all those people. There's no way none of them can say that whether one of them, two of them, three of them or so, I don't know which of them, that would have gotten the info that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to Kenya. And there's no way they are not aware that the plan to go to Kenya was a plot or was a design by some politicians who have penetrated the system and to lure Mazi Nnamdi Kanu into Kenya. Because the truth about it is that the plan would have been, the part of the plan would have been that once Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is lured and he's gotten rid of, there must be a knowledge to the people of Biafra to keep them calm and make sure nobody goes into rioting or fighting and all of that. Even if such kinds of things happen, just let it be briefly, and then everything normalizes, and then everybody will now say, okay, now Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is no more, and let's go on. We have to go on. So we cannot rely. We must make sure that we get our freedom. We must make sure that we revenge Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We have to now reconstitute the leadership. Then they will now form another set of people and say, okay, now this is our leader, this is the head of the US, this is blah blah, and all the people who will be there will now be the tools of the politicians connected to the Nigerian government, connected to the British Empire, who are being funded to continue to keep IPOB going on, talking about freedom, but doing nothing at all to get freedom. Just like what is happening today, both the criminal in Finland and the US, all they do is incite the people to believe on what is not, what they are not doing. Now, I'm going to stop here because I said I'm just going to utilize 30 minutes. I'm going to be taking this thing step by step. The next video, I'm going to start from this point because I'm going to make you move from this point and move on until we get to the point of you looking at everything and the picture clearly and then deciding for yourself, because the purpose of this now, it is 3 years. I've waited so long. I know you have waited so long. We cannot continue to rely on the courts. That is not what IPOB is supposed to do, to be waiting for the courts to give their verdict. The last one they gave, what did they do? They hijacked the whole process. They took it back to the high court, and now we are still waiting. It is an abnormal situation. Something is wrong. That should make you know that something is wrong somewhere. And that is why we must change the narrative. That is why we must do the right thing right now. And now let me let you know this. The dancing around and the capture of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the quietness or the continuous broadcast on Radio Biafra or the criminal in Finland doing his own thing and all of this stuff without anybody talking about setting a fact-finding committee, which was supposed to be the first thing that should have happened as soon as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was captured. The first thing was to set up a committee. After all the facts began to come out, when the women had a meeting with Chike Doziem, when some other people started saying what they're saying, when Kanunta came on and said, hey, sit at home must be cancelled. Sorry, please. When different things were being done, when the Anambra election, people were lured to get involved in the Anambra election in that same year, 2021, when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped and extraordinarily renditioned, when things were just going here and there, and when we began to see leadership tussle here, clamor for control, even Ejiofor too was clamoring to control the narrative, Kanu clamoring to control the narrative, and Chinansa clamoring to control the narrative, Chikedozium just being there as a puppet. Everything was an evidence that something has happened behind the scene, but because our people are emotionally attached to some certain groups or some certain personalities, they did not reason appropriately and rightly. And that is why the safest part to be, or the safest place to be, is to be on the neutral part, to be able to analyze any situation well, and to be able to conclude rightly with common sense. If two people are fighting and one who's your friend, and all you do is because you are connected to your friend, you because of that attachment, you want to talk based on the attachment to your friend, you are not going to give the right judgment, because there is no how you will want to compromise the situation. But when you look at it, oh, you're my friend, okay, that's not the issue here. Now, what is the matter? You look at it from the point of neutrality, you will give the right judgment, because common sense will prevail. That is why we're still in the trouble we're in now, because common sense have not prevailed amongst us. Common sense has not prevailed among us. We need to now get ourselves to the place where common sense will prevail. The first thing now, for anybody to have been quiet 3 years, 4 months plus, still counting, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not out. Nothing is done, and all the things that people said they are doing on the ground, including the 150 days count, and the criminal coming to tell you that the criminal in Finland, and all the activities of DOS and all they are doing, none of them, we're not seeing anything tangible. Yet everybody is, if you look at the post, you discover that all they are doing is waiting for the court case. That tells you that there is something fundamentally wrong somewhere, and there's something being hidden. Because if they were truly innocent, they would have clamored for a fact-finding committee. And for the fact that nothing is happening, then the only thing that can happen now that can give us a sense of direction is the fact-finding committee, common sense. Because the fact-finding committee will go through the facts, dig into more facts, take cognizance of exhibits, evidences, confessions, and other things. Look into the steps before Kenya, after Kenya, and look into the issue of the bounty, the body language of the people, other people involvement, the family involvement, the family of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's involvement, and other things. Then they will come out objectively based on the fact that they are not partisan, they are not in support of any group. That is why I'm saying that fact-finding committee must be a committee that is not connected, or that is not loyal, or that is not henchman, or that is not emotionally attached, or that is not in support of any party. And the public must be open to submitting their facts, also their ideas. That is the only way we're going to get solution to this. Because now that nobody can do anything about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, everybody's waiting for the court, then the fact-finding committee will give us a very unique result. The result that will come from it will help us now to redefine ourselves and know how we can go and get the right people on track and to know where we stand. I tell you, this is the solution to everything that we're doing right now. Please like this video, share on all your social media platforms. I'm going to continue on this note in the next video. I tell you, I'm going to go deeper into these facts, and we're going to look at it critically. I'll give more examples, and so we can understand this whole thing, because the time has come for us to stop allowing ourselves to be used like buffoons. Stop allowing ourselves to be controlled by politicians. Control you. You are being controlled by people who are. I don't know why we allow ourselves to be controlled by people who don't mean well for us. But of course, we know that the mind of man these days, the world has gone so chaotic that people no more think straight, and that's the fact. That's the problem. Slavery has really caused lots of problems. But please share this on all your social media platforms. Let people join. Share far and wide. Also like this video, and also please comment and let me get your comments, and so that I can respond. Other people also can look at your comments and also respond what is on their mind. And also please subscribe to this channel so that we can increase this channel and allow the truth to prevail all over the nations of the world. I want to thank you for joining, and please continue to watch out for more videos from me. Go back to the ones I've said before and let's get facts straight. It's time for us, truth, those who are the believers of truth, to come under the platform of Truth Channel Network, which is this channel, and say the truth and allow ourselves to be exonerated from destruction. Thank you so much all. Pray for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The court case is coming up. Let's watch what is going to come out of it. But that doesn't stop us from doing what we're supposed to do. We're going to do what we're supposed to do and play our own role and our own parts. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of the day, the rest of the night, the rest of the morning, whatever time you are in. Enjoy your time. Thank you so much, and God bless you real good. Kelechi Ome